Hey guys, and down here, this is giving my chapter review to One Piece 962, the Daimyo and his retainers. I enjoyed the chapter. I was slightly annoyed by the fact that we had only 14 pages in the chapter. Something which I'm not happy about, not fond of. I mean, we had My Hero do it today as well, but we've had My Hero doing like small short chapters for a while in terms of he'll release the occasional big ass 18 pages, but Horikoshi usually goes for the 14, 16 pages. But this was a really short One Piece chapter, especially after break, which it was today, and it was only 14 pages, which was kind of annoying and a little bit disheartening. But it was a good chapter nonetheless. Oda condensed everything he needed to in this chapter. So the cover page is just we see this lady wearing a smile jumper. She's quite large. She's a big old lady, and it says that the Capone, the gang beige, what's it called, the tank pirates stumbled upon an intoxicated vacuum kissing devil and her pursuers. So not Lola. Cool. Anyway, we go to Wano country. And I enjoyed this chapter. We got to see more of Oden's flashback. We got to go to quite a few districts, actually. We went to Hakumai, Ringo, Kibi, Kuri. We get to see everything. So we're in Hakumai. Some time has passed since Oden and his boys, this is Kinemon and Denjiro, have been there. And this is after he was exiled from the capital. And he's already saying he's been there for a while and he's leaving. So everyone's there like, oh my god, so Oden, you're leaving? It's going to be... We're going to be free of trouble without you here, but it's also going to be lonely. And the reason why he wants to leave is because he's like, yo, I heard there's this guy in Kuri, there's this beast in Kuri by the name of Ashura Doji. Manga Stream translates it to boy Ashura. I really don't like that translation. I'm not sure what Doji means, but Ashura Doji sounds so much better than boy Ashura. I mean, like, I'm not sure what you guys think of that. Maybe it's just me. Ashura Doji is what I'm going to go by. So Yasui is just like, yeah, Kuri's a cancer upon Wano. Even the Shogun, Sukiyaki, doesn't go there to touch the place. Doesn't even try to touch the place. It's almost like it's a haven for criminals. The laws of the Shogun are meaningless there. And he said, for criminals, if they have the death sentence and they escape to Kuri, if they're not strong enough to survive there, it's basically a death sentence anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Kuri is a lawless district, and it might as well not be part of the country. So obviously this is something that's going to greatly interest someone like Oden. So he's like, alright, I think I'll take my tour around the country as... Let me actually just make sure of this, because I think... let me just see what the geography of... Wano is. So Hakumai, in order to get to Kuri, he has to go across the country from southeast to northwest. So what he does is, I think he goes around in like circular fashion. He just seems to go around Wano for the most part, which is how he collects his retainers. But yeah, so as he's leaving, you see Yasui go to his room, and he's being shown there by one of his retainers, and he's like, check this room out. Oden's freaking mashed it up, and it's completely messed up. Looks like something Oden would have done. I mean, like, you need power to throw a freaking table through the roof, which is what's happened here. And Yasui's like, oh, let's not demand compensation. Let's just pretend a natural disaster went through here. I thought that was pretty cool, because Yasui obviously has a soft spot for Oden. But then there's the issue of one of his safes where they stockpiled money that was robbed and it was stolen. And you see Orochi here saying, "Oh, I hate to be a snitch, but I saw Oden put a whole bunch of money in a bag, and he ran off with it." And I was like, "Yo, that's a really dick move of Oden." But then Yasui, obviously being that more kind of cognitive guy than I am, apparently, he's looking into the distance, very cool like. And one of his retainers is all pissed off, like, he repaid our hospitality, he bit the hand that fed him and stuff like that. But Yasui is just thinking, we just saw the state of his room. Oden isn't the type of guy to sneak away or to do something undercover. He beat the shit out of that room, and he made sure we knew that he did it, right? If Oden was responsible for taking the money, he would have done it in a much more spectacular fashion. The whole room would have been on fire with freaking, comets flying around, stargazing, all that shit, freaking black holes and stuff like that. So he looks over at Orochi and he's like, yo, you little shit. You sure he robbed it? You sure it was him and not maybe, I don't know, you? He doesn't actually say that. He's just like, are you sure that's what you saw? And Orochi's like, yeah, I was just too scared to stop him. You can see snot dribbling from his nose. He's sweating a bit, and Orochi's just giving him the eye, like, I'm not gonna out you in front of my boys right now, but I got my eye on you. It's almost as if Orochi at this point, this early on in Orochi's career, he started figuring out. He's like, hey, this is a little shit right here. This is a skid mark on my basin of Hakumai. So then we carry on with Oden, with Kinemon and Denjiro, and they're leaving Hakumai, and apparently they cause many incidents on their way to Kuri. And basically what happens at one point is that I think they're staying over in some sort of shrine, and what Oden tells the other two, what he tells Kinemon and Denjiro, he's like, I've decided to keep a log because apparently sailors from the outside world do the same thing, which is kind of cool. He seems to be very, very fanboyish of, when it comes to pirates and piracy. So from then on, their exploits were recorded in Oden's logbook, which I think may actually play a larger part in the story. And everyone in the comments on Reddit too, they're all making mention of the fact that Oden's logbook may actually play a large part moving forward, in terms of maybe that's what Kaido and Orochi want. Maybe there's information in that logbook that we don't know of yet that Oden would have kept, especially on his adventures with Whitebeard and his adventures with Roger especially. So Raftel, which people are calling Laugh-Tail now, no, I don't care what's it called, Stampede has done. I've been calling it Raftel since I was like 15, 12 years old or something like that. It's Raftel to me. It's not changing, boys and girls. I don't care if it's called Laugh-Tail, man. Come on. Raftel is just, that's what it is. I don't mind so much if it's Laugh-Tail. Officially, it's Raftel, bro. So maybe he has details on Raftel in there. Maybe he has details as to what happened there, what he saw there, how to get there, all that type of stuff. Maybe that's what these other guys are looking for. And I really don't get the feeling that Kaido's after something like that. I don't feel like he has motivation to want to go to Raftel, but maybe there's something more to that. Anyway, we go through this logbook, and we go to the places where Oden and his boys Kinemon and Denjiro, where they found their next few retainers. So we first go to Ringo, which is actually the snowy region, right? So this is where we think, this is where we saw the flashback of that fox guy, the guardian of the bridge. I've forgotten his name. That's gonna annoy me. But it's also where we have those fox lords, right? So the daimyos, they always had a fox with them, and that one of those foxes was guarding the bridge, which is who Zoro was fighting against. Anyway, we go to Ringo, where we see these two children who look like ladies, almost geisha-ish in their appearance, and we're told that there were these two hungry brothers covered in filth, danced on the streets to get by. Locals treated them scornfully, and were given their names: the elder brother, son of the former head of the Hanayanagi school, Izo, and the younger brother, Kikunojo. Now it just so happens we're very familiar with an Izo, and I didn't actually recognize until someone in the comments mentioned Izo is the 16th Division commander of the was the 16th Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. The guy with the two flintlocks, the geisha-like appearance. He's kind of like a cross-dressing samurai-ish looking dude. That's him. This is him. And I was like, yo, okay, shit. He's the elder brother to Kikunojo. That's a really nice kind of tie-in, especially because we know that Oden spent some time with Whitebeard. It's possibly his 2nd Division commander. So maybe that's when Izo went with him and thought, you know what? You want to be open. You want Wano to be open. You don't want people to be trapped within Wano. If they want to leave, they're allowed to leave. So maybe that's when Izo is like, I want to stay with Whitebeard. Whitebeard has become this new father figure to me, seeing as my father was a waste man. But Kikunojo stayed. So you see here that he finds out they were part of a dancing school. Their family was torn apart after their father turned to crime. So he feeds them, and they scarf down the Oden they made for him with tears streaming down their faces. And they swore their fealty, what must have been then and there, to Oden. They then went to Kibi, where there was a demon that would steal human hair. And it turns out, I love how he was like, he just says in his logbook, he's like, it turned out it was just some weirdo by the name of Kanjuro, who they call the demon of Kibi. And what he was doing was he was cutting people's hair off and making them into brushes and selling brushes, and that's how he would essentially live. That's how he would survive. That was his means of income. And it turned out he was persecuted in the past. I love how Oden's like, but you reap what you sow. This guy was a bit cray-cray, a bit of a weird one, so he deserved it. But he then must have obviously sworn fealty to Oden after he tried to steal Oden's head. Not a bright idea there. They then go to Udon in the forest there, where they heard of a mountain bandit who would fight any man he locked eyes with, kidnap women, all that type of stuff. Turns out it was just a former member of the Kozuki family's Oni Wabanshu, Raizo. So Raizo at this point already had affiliations with the Kozuki family and with Oden. He recognized Oden straight away. And apparently he was a genius ninja who resigned from the Oni Wabanshu as he was heartbroken after being rejected by a kunoichi. The only kunoichi we've seen so far is Shinobu. So probably we'll get some sort of flashback as to when Shinobu was meant to be fire. We then go to the lawless land of Kuri, where we see Ashura Doji having sliced the head off this giant snake, and he's just filling this large sake bowl with the blood of this python or this anaconda. It's a big ass snake, and he's referred to as the unstoppable monster of Kuri, Ashura Doji, and he's just there filling this thing. He's drinking the blood of a snake. This guy, like, there's fewer ways to come out in an introduction and a flashback looking like a badass, but having a bowl full of snake blood and drinking it, saying, yeah, I'm the biggest guy here, probably is the biggest guy there. I'm just like, yo, he's making a statement for himself in this flashback, even though we know he definitely loses here. So he's there, happy about the fact that someone like Oden's coming to challenge him. He's like, yeah, bring him to me. I hate people privilege and with power the most. So while we see Oden's new group of Raizo, Kanjiro, Kinemon, Kikunojo, Izo, and Denjiro, they're like, oh yeah, he just went to take a shit, and they're just like, wasn't that yesterday? And he's like, oh yeah, apparently he just goes off for a day or two every now and again. But it turns out he went south, and Kuri is in the south. So they all dash towards Kuri. They see the front gate is broken, and here we have an epic description of what Oden saw when he went to Kuri. He's like, after I broke open the gate, I was overwhelmed by the stench of blood, sweat, corpses. It was as if the entire world's killing intent was turned onto me, was magnified down onto me, and kind of all of it tuned into me. And I love that. I love the imagery here. It's just like all this hatred was just suddenly found one point to concentrate, and it was Oden. And Oden, rather than being afraid or cowering at it, he's just smiling. He's like, the rule there seems simple. One is free to enter, but leaving would mean death. And he's there smiling this devilish grin. He's like, tell your boss, tell Ashura Doji that a samurai has come. And he's like, how stifling, such an environment is unfit for humans. Yet there he is, kicking the shit out of everyone. And I loved his kind of his motivation here. It wasn't just to kick the shit out of Ashura Doji, some beast which he'd heard of. It was, he heard the principle behind Kuri, which was, once you enter, you cannot leave. Leaving means death. So he's like, never leave? That's the shit I hate the most. And that's exactly something that I can see Oden doing. It's not like this was unprovoked. That's Oden to a T from what we've seen so far. Anyway, his then not really retainers are running towards him, and what I like here is everyone's carrying their weapons of choice. Raizo doesn't really have any weaponry per se. You see Izo here with a sword in his left and a flintlock pistol in his right, while carrying Kikunojo strapped to his back. Kikunojo just looks like a doll at this point. I thought that was pretty funny. And actually a good point to mention here is that both Izo and Kikunojo part of that dance school, but they were trying to make a living by looking like girls, I assume, dancing in public, almost like a geisha-ish kind of thing. And when you look at them both today, or when we last saw Izo, Kikunojo is this very womanly looking man, a feminine looking man. Same with Izo, in the sense that he has a painted face. He looks a little bit more manly, but lipstick on, painted, really foundationalized face kind of thing. A purplish, pinkish kimono, that type of thing. So they both still have that kind of dance, kind of Okama-ish background, in the sense of they seem to be comfortable in that feminine look / attire. Anyway, they finally arrive at where Oden is, and Oden's there looking like a complete badass. 2 arrows, one just beneath his left shoulder blade, one beneath the lower right side of his ribs, in his back, and he's just there like, sorry, I just finished up here, boys. It took all night. I cannot believe it took that long. Manga Stream actually said it took all night and then the next day. I'm not sure which one to believe, but I usually go by J Mini's box. And he's sat on top of Ashura Doji. Such a powerful image here. He's just kicked the shit out of the entirety of Kuri. Then he took out Ashura Doji, and he's just sat on top of them. And Ashura Doji, like a proper warrior, he's just like just kill me. It's inevitable. I knew my life would end like this. I have no regrets. So we have what's his face, Oden here saying, you know what, I've if you guys, if Kinemon and you guys, if you still adore me, I'll be needing your strength and wits because I want to become the king of these scumbags. I want to become the king of this place. So then we go through another time skip, a very minor one, it must have been at least like a year or something, where we see the retainer of Lord Sukiyaki, who is the shogun, Oden's father, running into Sukiyaki's room, and he's pointing at this newspaper kind of thing. And it turns out that Oden used his overwhelming might, as we saw, to round up all the ruffians in Kuri, and he turned what was once a hell on earth into a prosperous place for its inhabitants, a peaceful place for the inhabitants of Kuri. You see Yasui here, he's like, oh yeah, only my boy would be able to do something like that. We see the Lord of Ringo here in the wintry weather with his fox saying, oh yeah, he really changed that Kuri. We see, what's her face, oh my god, I've forgotten Kinemon's wife's name. What's her name? We see her looking at the newspaper, obviously, like surprised by the news, but also probably looking out for the guy with the blonde-ish hair, the white hair, Kinemon, in the back there. So what Sukiyaki actually does here is he reverses his decision to disown Oden, and he declares Oden the daimyo of Kuri. Everyone in Kuri is going apeshit, like, yeah, our very own Lord Oden is going to become a daimyo. That means Kuri's become a proper region. Has it's essentially a district like Kibi, like Ringo, Udon, Akumai, all those places. So everyone's going apeshit. All of his boys at that point were just like, this is awesome. Ashura Doji is there thanking him. He's like, I've never experienced peace before. This is what it is. Oden's obviously like, bitch, I don't need none of this sappy shit. But then he realizes, like, oh shit, now that we're a proper region and I'm a daimyo, I require retainers, and I don't want any of these old uptight officials coming to be my retainers. So what I'll do is, you guys can be my samurai, you guys can be my retainers. They all get super emotional about it, and then we're told, so that kind of draws a line under that part. 6 years later, and 33 years from the present, we're told that the survivors of the legendary Rocks pirates started recruiting into their own pirate crews, and they would eventually become the power beacons for the next generation. But we see Big Mom, Kaido, obviously his back. We see Edward Newgate, or Whitebeard. In the back, I assume, is Shiki. And then there's one more guy at like the 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock region. And I assume that's Captain John. That's what everyone's thinking. The chapter ends with, we go to Kuri Beach, where you see this boat that's completely smashed, and you see these two bodies have washed ashore, and Kawamatsu is actually there. He's looking at these two bodies like, yo, what the hell are these? Are they animals, or are they just hairy people? What are they? Weird looking monsters. And he's just there poking them and prodding them with a stick. And I looked at them and I thought, yo, are these those numbers, those things that Kaido and his crew apparently brought along? Those silhouettes we saw in the fog that were gonna be there for Onigashima and the Fire Festival or some shit. I was like, are these those things? And then I noticed, well, I didn't even notice, I went to Reddit and the manga stream comments, and what people were saying were, and someone actually put up a picture of both Inuarashi and Nekomamushi when they were younger, and you can tell by Nekomamushi's ears actually, but I think these are the two, what are they actually called? These are the two leaders of the mink tribe. The one on the left, the one with the mane, obviously Nekomamushi, and the one further away is Inuarashi. So this is how they washed up ashore in Wano. And apparently we've been told before that they washed up ashore on Wano anyway. I can't recollect that. It's been a long time since I could remember that. But that's pretty much it. That's the end of the chapter. So I'm hoping we get more of a flashback with Oden, because I want to see him. I want to see why he chose to go with Whitebeard, what he did with Whitebeard, or at least a little kind of run through of that, like this chapter. Like, we didn't get everything. We just kind of went through his logbook and how he got his retainers. I want to see how he did that with Whitebeard. I then want to see how he did that with Roger, and I want to see why and what attracted Kaido to Wano. How did Orochi gain shogunate? What did he do? How did he put himself in a position where he could do that? Did he become a wealthy man? Did he backstab Yasui or something to attain lands or something like that? Or did he carry on robbing from me and investing and then robbing from me and investing? And maybe he was there selling information. And then the other thing is, we know there's a traitor somewhere in the midst of either the Red Scabbards, within the Straw Hats, which it can't be within the Heart Pirates. Somewhere there's a traitor, right, leaking information to Kaido's men and Orochi's men. We haven't seen Denjiro yet. Where the frick's he at? I don't think it's gonna be Denjiro just because of how loyal he seems to be to Oden at this point in the flashbacks. But someone's got to be selling information to Kaido and his men, and someone obviously knows about Oden's logbook, because I feel like that's the most important takeaway from this chapter, is that he has a logbook where he detailed stuff. Maybe that's what Kaido's after. And why would they know about it? How do they know about it? Someone's a traitor, and it might be someone within the 9 Red Scabbards, and I have no idea who it could be, because Izo's not there. I was thinking, hey, we haven't seen Izo, and then I realized he's actually on the Whitebeard Pirates, and the others we've seen all of them apart from Denjiro. So who knows? Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. I enjoyed it. It was just a little short. By a little short, I mean very short. But other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's both my reviews for this week, and I think I'm done. So like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.